Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how to make these really cute Christmas tree ornaments. You can obviously use them as gift tags, you can use them as appliques on pillows and blankets, anything that you want to use them for. There's different ways of attaching the yarn, so you can create a chain, or you can just get a random piece of scrap yarn and just attach it to the top, which is really simple and quite cute. You could pop a little star button on the top there. You could decorate, once you'd finished, you could put those little, you know, the kiddies craft pom-poms. You could hot glue some of them on there. You could run silver or gold thread through it to try and make it look like it has a little bit of tinsel on it. The world is your oyster when it comes to these, but today I'm just going to show you how to make the basic shape. Now, as you can see, this one uses the granny stitch, but we're actually going to use the corner to corner granny to create this. Do not be intimidated by that. It's really super easy, and I'm going to be working through it with you step by step. So these finished appliques work out around about 4 inches square. I think this one was about 4 inches square. And it's made using 4-weight yarn scraps. You can see it doesn't require a lot and only a tiny bit if you want to change colour for the trunk, and a 4mm hook. You can use a 5mm hook for this, but it will add a bit more drape, so it depends what you want to use the Christmas tree for, as to how much drape etc you would like in it. You can make this with any weight yarn, but remember that if you go down to say a 3-weight yarn, your trees are going to be smaller. If you go up to a 6-weight yarn or a 5-weight yarn, your trees are going to be much bigger. And the same with the hook size. The hook size does make a difference too. So that being said, let's crack on with our trees. So I'm using some scrap yarn from a previous project. This is, I believe this is Paintbox Simply Aran. And we're going to start with a slip knot. So I'm assuming that you know how to make that. Everybody does it slightly differently, so if you do it differently to me, don't worry. Then we're going to chain 4, and we're going to slip stitch to the first chain to join. So we're going to ignore the first 3, and we're going to literally insert our hook into that very first chain we created. Yarn over, pull through, so we have 2 loops in our hook, and yarn over, pull through that first loop on our hook. And we will be working into the center of this chain 4. So we're going to start by chaining 3, which counts as a stitch, and then we're going to work 4 double crochets in the center of our chain 4 circle. So a double crochet, just as a reminder, yarn over, insert your hook into that center of that circle, yarn over and pull through. So now we have 3 loops in our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that's our first double crochet. I need 3 more, all worked into the center of that circle. And that's our first row done. So for row 2, we're going to turn and we're going to chain 3. That counts as a double crochet all the way through this pattern. Now we're going to work 3 double crochets between these first 2 stitches on the previous row. So if I come in just a little bit closer for you so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So we have our first 2 stitches here. So we'll yarn over, we'll insert our hook between the posts of those first and second stitches, and we'll work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to skip these 2 double crochets and we're left with 2 stitches. So we have this double crochet and the chain 4 that started the previous row. So in this gap that you can see between here, between this stitch and the chain 4, we're going to work 4 double crochets into the gap. 1, 2, and that is row 2 completed. Then we are going to turn, and for row 3 we're going to chain 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochets in the space between this first and second stitch. So we're going to work between the posts rather than through the front post and the back, through the front and the back loop. So we'll insert between the posts of the first 2 stitches and work that double crochet. So we need another 2 double crochets in there. And then in this space between the next 2 sets of 3 double crochets, so you can see we've got 3 double crochets, then we've got this space. This space is where we're working into. We're going to work 3 double crochets. And then we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, the next 3 double crochets from the previous row, and like we did on row 2, we are going to work 4 double crochets into this space between the last double crochet and the chain 4 start. Sorry, the chain 3 start from the previous row. So this is what we're looking like at the end of row 3. So for row 4, we're going to turn and we're going to chain 3. Then between these first 2 stitches, in this big gap here, we're going to work 3 double crochets. Then we're going to skip these 3 double crochets and we're going to work into this gap here, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into that gap. And then we will skip these 3 double crochets, and in the next gap here we are going to work 3 double crochets. And then we'll skip these 3 double crochets, and in this gap here between the last double crochet and the chain 4 start from the previous row, we're going to work 4 double crochets. So that is what we're looking like at the end of row 4. So row 5, we're going to turn and we're going to slip stitch along the first 4 stitches until we reach this first space between these sets of 3 double crochet. So we'll slip stitch along to that space, and then we're going to chain 3 and work 3 double crochets into this space. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll skip this set of 3 double crochets and we'll work another 3 double crochets into this space here. And then we'll skip the next set of 3 double crochets, and in this space here between these 2 sets of 3 double crochets, so in this space we're going to work 4 double crochets. So you can see how this is starting to add shape to our tree. Then we're going to turn, and for row 6 we're going to repeat row 4. So we will chain 3 and we'll work 3 double crochets in the space between these first 2 stitches. So we'll wrap our yarn, we'll insert our hook between the posts of these first 2 stitches, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we'll work 2 more double crochets in there. Then we're going to skip these 3 double crochets and we're going to work 3 double crochets into this space here. And then we'll skip the next 3 double crochets and work 3 double crochets into the next space. And then we'll skip the next 3 double crochets, and in this little space here between the last 2 stitches of the row we're going to work 4 double crochets. And this is what we're looking like at the end of row 6. So row 7 we need to repeat row 5. So we will turn and we will slip stitch across these first 4 stitches until we reach this space here. And then we're going to chain 3 and work 3 double crochets into this space. And then we'll skip the next set of 3 double crochets, and in the space just after it we will work 3 more double crochets. and then we'll skip these 3 double crochets, and in this next space we will work 4 double crochets. So that is what we're looking like at the end of row 7. So row 8 is another repeat of row 4. So we will chain 3 and we will work 3 double crochets between these 2 stitches at the start of the row. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to skip the next 3 double crochets, and in this space here just after them we're going to work 3 double crochets. And then we'll skip the next 3 double crochets, and in this space here we'll work 3 double crochets. And then we'll skip the next 3 double crochets, and into this space between that last double crochet and your chain 3 start on the previous row, we're going to work 4 double crochets. And that is the shape of our tree completed. Now if you're changing colour here for your tree trunk, fasten off your yarn. And then identify the middle 4 stitches. So we have four sets of granny stitch along the bottom of our tree. So if we look at these middle 2 and come in 1 stitch from the end, then we've got 2 double crochets from either cluster. There, they are our centre 4 stitches. If you are not changing colour for your tree trunk, you still need to identify your centre 4 stitches and then slip stitch along. So you'll be slip stitching along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches to get to the 6th stitch. So then we're going to attach our yarn. We're going to be working into the back loop only of these 4 stitches. So we will chain 1 and single crochet into the back loop only of each of the 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now the back loop, I don't know whether you can see that there, with all of your stitches you have a front loop and a back loop. Now it doesn't matter which way is facing you, the one closest to you is always going to be the front loop, the one furthest away is the back loop. So you would literally just, instead of going through both loops like you would ordinarily, you'd literally just pick up that back loop and work your stitch, in this case a single crochet. So there I have 4 single crochets. Now working into the back loop here gives us a nice straight finished edge when it comes to hanging our Christmas tree. and then we are going to turn and chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in this first stitch and each of the next 3 stitches. So this is worked normally through both loops. And then we're going to turn, chain 1 and single crochet in the first stitch and each of the next 3 stitches, again through both loops. And then we're going to fasten off our yarn, because that is our tree finish. So we just have those 4 ends to sew in. Now all that's left is for us to hang a ribbon or a piece of string or some spare yarn through the center of our chain 4 start, right at the top of our tree. Or if you wanted to, you could attach your yarn, which I will do here, and chain 15 If you want to, you can make it longer. So I'll go to 18, I think. And then you would just slip stitch it to the bottom to join and fasten off, and that would be your hanging loop. And we would just weave in those ends, tidy them up, and then you will end up with a tree that looks something like this one. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. If you have, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It will keep you updated on any videos that I publish. If you would like to participate more in the Scrappy Holiday Cal that I have going this week, then please do check out the links below. There's the link to the free pattern on the blog post for this particular tree, as well as links to the roundup post for the cowl, where the patterns will always be free on my blog, and links for where you can sign up for my emails if you would like to be kept updated of everything Sunflower Cottage Crochet. Take care guys, see you soon, bye.